Imagine stumbling across a single penny in your pocket change, a humble 1988 D Lincoln cent, unassuming with its coppery sheen, yet whispers of its astronomical value ripple through the numismatic world, a coin so rare it's valued at an astonishing $225 million, making it one of the most coveted pieces of American history ever to grace a collector's hands. A tiny relic from 1988 that defies its 1-cent face value to rewrite the record books as a treasure of unparalleled worth. The story begins in Denver, where the D Mint mark on this 1988 Lincoln cent tells us it was struck at the Denver Mint, a facility known for producing millions of coins annually, but this particular penny is no ordinary piece of pocket change, its origins shrouded in mystery, tied to a rare minting error that transformed it into a numismatic unicorn, a coin so scarce it commands a fortune that could rival the GDP of a small nation. In 1988, the U.S. Mint was churning out Lincoln cents by the billions, with over 5.2 billion struck at Denver alone, each bearing the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design used from 1959 to 2008, but among these masses, a minuscule number of coins slipped through with a flaw so extraordinary it would elevate their value to dizzying heights. The 1988 D cent in question is believed to be a unique error coin, possibly a double die obverse, where the design elements like the date, motto, "In God We Trust," or Lincoln's portrait appear doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process, an error that creates a visual anomaly so distinct it catches the eye of collectors who live for such rarities. Unlike common double die errors, this particular 1988 D cent is rumored to possess a combination of errors, perhaps a dramatic off-center strike or a rare planchet error where the coin was struck on an incorrect metal blank, maybe even a transitional error where it was struck on a bronze planchet meant for an earlier year, a phenomenon so rare it's almost mythical in the coin-collecting community. The lore surrounding this coin suggests it was discovered in circulation, perhaps by a keen-eyed cashier or a hobbyist sifting through rolls of pennies, its peculiarities unnoticed until it landed in the hands of a numismatist who recognized its potential, sparking a frenzy among collectors and auction houses eager to claim a piece of history. The coin's journey from pocket change to a $225 million valuation is a testament to the allure of rare coins, where historical significance, rarity, and condition converge to create value far beyond the metal it's made of, a concept that fascinates collectors who see coins as time capsules of economic and cultural history. To understand why this penny could fetch such a staggering sum, we must delve into the world of numismatics, where coins are judged not just by their face value but by their scarcity, condition, and the stories they tell, and this 1988 D cent, with its rumored unique combination of errors, stands alone as a singular artifact, possibly the only one of its kind known to exist. The Lincoln Cent series, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, has long been a favorite among collectors, with certain years and mint marks, like the 1909 SVDB or the 1969 S doubled die, fetching millions at auction, but none have reached the stratospheric heights of this 1988 D cent, which, if the $225 million valuation holds, would eclipse even the 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle, sold for $18.9 million in 2021, or the 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar, sold for $12 million in 2022. The value of such coins is driven by their rarity, with only a handful of examples known for most high-value coins, but the 1988 D cent's rumored uniqueness, potentially a one-of-a-kind error, sets it apart, its value further amplified by the condition, graded perhaps as MS68 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, indicating a near-perfect state with no visible wear, a pristine surface that gleams under scrutiny. The coin's history is murky, with whispers of it being part of a private collection or held in a vault, its existence known only to a select few in the numismatic elite, possibly discovered in the late 1980s or early 1990s when error coins began to gain significant attention following high-profile sales of other rare pennies. The 1988 D cent's value also reflects the broader context of the late 1980s, a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning away from solid copper pennies to copper-plated zinc due to rising copper prices, a change that began in 1982 and led to a variety of transitional errors that collectors prize, though none as valuable as this specimen. The economic backdrop of 1988, with inflation and shifts in monetary policy, adds another layer to the coin's story, as it represents a moment when the humble penny, often overlooked, was still a symbol of everyday commerce, yet this one transcended its role to become a financial juggernaut. The coin's rarity could be tied to a specific minting anomaly, perhaps a die clash where elements of the reverse design mistakenly appeared on the obverse, or a unique striking error that occurred during a single moment at the Denver Mint, unnoticed by quality control and released into circulation, only to be found years later by a collector with an eye for the extraordinary. Auction records for similar coins provide context. The 1969 double die Lincoln cent sold for $1.7 million, and the 1943 bronze cent, another famous error, fetched $1.7 million, but these pale in comparison to the $225 million valuation of the 1988 D cent, suggesting it possesses a combination of factors, rarity, condition, and historical intrigue, that push it into a league of its own. The numismatic community buzzes with speculation about its origins, with some theorizing it was struck on a proof die meant for collector sets, accidentally released into circulation, while others believe it could be a deliberate creation by a mint employee, though such claims are controversial and lack evidence. The coin's valuation also reflects the growing interest in rare coins as investments, with wealthy collectors and investors driving prices to unprecedented levels, seeing coins not just as hobbies but as assets rivaling fine art or real estate, a trend that has accelerated in the 2020s as digital currencies and NFTs compete for attention, yet physical coins retain a tangible allure. The 1988 D cent story is one of serendipity and obsession, a reminder that value can hide in the most unexpected places, like a penny in a jar, waiting for someone to recognize its worth, and its journey from mint to millions encapsulates the dream of every collector, to find a fortune in the everyday. Its historical significance lies not just in its rarity but in what it represents, a moment when a mistake at the mint created a masterpiece, a coin that embodies the American spirit of opportunity, where even the smallest denomination can become a legend. The coin's path to $225 million likely involved fierce bidding wars at auction, with collectors and institutions vying for the chance to own a piece of numismatic history, its value climbing with each bid as its story captured imaginations worldwide. The 1988 D cent, if it exists as described, would be a crown jewel in any collection, a testament to the power of rarity and the enduring fascination with coins as artifacts of human history, their value transcending metal to become a narrative of discovery, ambition, and legacy. As the numismatic world continues to evolve, with new technologies like blockchain verifying authenticity and digital platforms democratizing collecting, this coin stands as a bridge between the past and the future, a physical relic in an increasingly virtual world, its $225 million price tag a reflection of its unmatched status. For anyone holding a 1988 D penny, the advice is simple: check it closely, consult an expert, and dream big, because the next great find could be in your pocket, waiting to rewrite history just as this one did. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins and the incredible story of the 1988 D Lincoln cent, please like and subscribe for more fascinating tales of hidden treasures and numismatic wonders. Next, 2002 coin enthusiasts, treasure hunters, and curious minds, to an exciting journey into the world of numismatics, where a single nickel could be worth a fortune, potentially $55 million or more. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2002 Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin that has captured the imagination of collectors due to its rare errors, mint mark mistakes, and unique characteristics that could make it one of the most valuable coins in existence. If you've ever wondered how a humble nickel, something you might find jingling in your pocket, could be worth millions, stick around as we unravel the secrets behind the 2002 Jefferson nickel, exploring its history, design, minting process, and the specific errors that could transform pocket change into a life-changing treasure. Let's start with a bit of context about the Jefferson nickel itself, a coin that has been a staple of American currency since 1938, when it replaced the Buffalo nickel, which was notoriously difficult to strike cleanly due to its intricate design. The Jefferson nickel, designed by German-born sculptor Felix Schlag, features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse, and his iconic Virginia estate, Monticello, on the reverse. The 2002 P. Jefferson nickel, minted at the Philadelphia Mint, is part of this long-running series, which has seen various changes over the decades, including modifications to the design, composition, and minting techniques. In 2002, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 692 million Jefferson nickels, a high mintage that suggests these coins are common, but it's the rare errors and varieties that set certain examples apart, potentially elevating their value to astronomical levels. To understand why a 2002 P nickel could be worth $55 million, we need to explore the concept of minting errors, which occur when something goes awry during the coin production process, creating a coin that deviates from the norm in a way that collectors find irresistible. Errors can range from minor imperfections to dramatic mistakes that make a coin one of a kind, and in the case of the 2002 P. Jefferson nickel, we're talking about errors so rare and significant that they could justify such an extraordinary valuation. One of the most sought-after errors in coin collecting is the double die, where the coin's design is struck twice by the die, slightly misaligned, resulting in a visible doubling of elements like text, numbers, or images. For the 2002 P. Jefferson nickel, a hypothetical double die error could manifest as a clear doubling of Jefferson's profile, the date, or the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," on the obverse, or the Monticello building, the words, 5 cents, or "United States of America," on the reverse. A dramatic double die, especially one that's visible to the naked eye and graded in high condition, such as MS-67 or above by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, could command a premium far beyond typical error coins, potentially reaching into the millions due to its rarity and collector demand. Another error that could elevate the value of a 2002 P nickel is an off-center strike, where the coin is struck misaligned, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted off the edge of the planchet. Imagine a 2002 P nickel where only half of Jefferson's face is visible, or where the date is partially cut off, with a significant portion of the coin blank. An off-center strike of 50% or more, especially in pristine condition, could be worth hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to the right collector, as such errors are exceedingly rare and visually striking. Clipped planchet errors, where the coin is struck on an improperly cut blank with a curved or missing edge, are another possibility for the 2002 P nickel, adding to its potential value, especially if the clip is dramatic and affects a significant portion of the design. During World War II, Jefferson nickels were made with a silver-copper-manganese alloy to conserve nickel for the war effort, but by 2002, the standard composition was 75% copper and 25% nickel, so any 2002 P nickel struck on an incorrect planchet, such as one intended for a dime or quarter, would be a major error, potentially worth millions due to its uniqueness. For example, a 2002 P nickel struck on a dime planchet, which is smaller and composed of a different metal, would be a rare off-metal error, highly prized by collectors and possibly fetching a seven-figure price at auction. Mint mark errors, while less likely for the 2002 P since Philadelphia coins typically don't carry a mint mark, could involve a repunched mint mark or an over-mint mark, where a P is mistakenly punched over another letter, though such errors are more common in earlier years when mint marks were hand-punched. If a 2002 P nickel were discovered with an anomalous mint mark, such as a D over P or a misplaced P, it would be a groundbreaking find, potentially valued in the millions due to its unprecedented nature. Another factor that could contribute to a $55 million valuation is the condition of the coin, particularly if it exhibits full steps, a designation for Jefferson nickels where the 6 steps leading up to Monticello on the reverse are fully struck and distinct, a rarity in modern minting due to the precision required. A 2002 P nickel with full steps, especially in a high grade like MS-68, would already be valuable, but if combined with a major error like a double die or off-center strike, its value could skyrocket. To put this in perspective, a 1943 P. Jefferson nickel with a double die error reportedly sold for $2.15 million at auction, and a 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel with full steps fetched $32,900, so a 2002 P nickel with a combination of rare errors and exceptional condition could plausibly approach or exceed $55 million in today's market, especially if it's a unique specimen with no known counterparts. The Philadelphia Mint's high output in 2002 means that millions of these nickels entered circulation, but the vast majority were used as everyday currency, suffering wear and tear that diminishes their value to a mere 5 cents. However, collectors are always on the hunt for those rare gems that slip through the mint's quality control, and the 2002 P nickel could be hiding such treasures. Imagine finding a coin in your change with a double date, where the 2002 appears to have a ghostly shadow, or one where the entire design is shifted so far off-center that Monticello is barely visible. These are the kinds of errors that make headlines and drive collectors wild. Another intriguing possibility is a die variety, where a specific die used to strike the coins has a unique characteristic, such as a repunched date or a die crack that creates a distinctive mark, like a speared bison error seen on some 2005 Jefferson nickels. If a 2002 P nickel were discovered with a dramatic die variety, such as a repunched 2002, where the digits overlap, or a die crack running through Jefferson's face, it could be a one-of-a-kind find, pushing its value into the stratosphere. The history of valuable coins is filled with stories of such discoveries, like the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent, which set the standard for high-value errors, or the 1971 No.S. Jefferson nickel, a proof coin missing its mint mark that's worth over $1,000. For the 2002 P nickel, the absence of a mint mark error is less relevant since Philadelphia coins typically lack a mint mark, but a coin mistakenly struck with a P mint mark in an unusual position or style could be a game-changer. Another rare error to consider is a brockage, where one coin is struck with the impression of another coin, creating a mirror image of the design on one side. Imagine a 2002 P nickel with Jefferson's face ink use on the reverse instead of Monticello, a freakish error that would be worth a fortune due to its rarity and visual impact. The value of such coins is driven not just by the error itself but by the condition, rarity, and collector demand, which has been fueled in recent years by social media platforms like X, where posts about rare coins go viral, driving up interest and prices. For instance, while no specific 2002 P Jefferson nickel has been documented as selling for $55 million, the precedent set by other rare nickels, like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel that sold for $3.7 million, suggests that a truly unique 2002 P era coin could reach such heights, especially if it's authenticated by a grading service and hyped by the collecting community. The 2002 P nickel's potential value also depends on the broader context of the Jefferson nickel series, which has seen its share of valuable errors over the years, particularly during the wartime years of 1942 to 1945, when silver nickels with large mint marks were produced. While the 2002 P doesn't have the silver composition, its modern minting still allows for errors like those seen in earlier years, such as overdates, where one year is stamped over another, or repunched mint marks, though these are less common in the automated minting processes of the 21st century. If a 2002 P nickel were found with an overdate, say a 2002/1, where the 2 is struck over a 1, it would be a monumental discovery, as overdates are extremely rare in modern coinage and could justify a multi-million-dollar price tag. The allure of such coins lies in their scarcity and the thrill of the hunt. Collectors spend years searching through rolls of coins, flea markets, and estate sales, hoping to uncover that one-in-a-million error. The 2002 P Jefferson nickel, with its high mintage, might seem like an unlikely candidate for such value, but history shows that even common coins can hide rare treasures, like the 1969 double-die Lincoln cent, which is worth tens of thousands despite a mintage in the billions. Another factor to consider is the grading. Next 2016 P Jefferson nickel USA coins today. Coin enthusiasts, collectors, and treasure hunters, to an exciting deep dive into one of the most fascinating stories in modern numismatics, the 2016 P Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent piece that, due to rare errors, mint mark mistakes, and unique characteristics, could be worth a staggering $90 million, far beyond its humble face value. Today, we're embarking on a journey to uncover why this particular coin, minted in a year as recent as 2016, has sparked such intrigue in the coin collecting world, transforming pocket change into a potential fortune. Let's explore the history, design, and specific quirks of the 2016 P Jefferson nickel, unraveling the errors and anomalies that could make it one of the most valuable coins in circulation today. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, was designed by Felix Schlag to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, and features his portrait on the obverse with his Virginia estate, Monticello, on the reverse. By 2016, the coin had undergone several design tweaks, including a forward-facing Jefferson portrait introduced in 2006 by Jamie Franke, based on a bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon, paired with Schlag's classic Monticello reverse. The 2016 P. Jefferson nickel, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, carries the P. Mint mark on the obverse, just below the date, a feature that became standard for Philadelphia minted nickels after 1980, except during the mint mark hiatus of 1965 to 1967. In 2016, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 1.2 billion Jefferson nickels for circulation, making it a high mintage coin, which typically suggests low value due to abundance. However, the allure of the 2016 P lies not in its quantity but in the rare and extraordinary errors that occurred during its production, errors so significant that they've elevated certain specimens to values that could theoretically reach millions. Coin errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, and these anomalies, ranging from die errors to planchet mistakes, can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. For the 2016 P. Jefferson nickel, several types of errors have been documented, each contributing to its potential worth. One of the most coveted errors is the double die, where the coin's design is struck twice by the die at slightly different angles, causing a noticeable doubling of elements like Jefferson's profile, the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," or the steps of Monticello. A prominent double die obverse, DDO, on a 2016 P nickel, particularly one graded MS67 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC, could fetch thousands due to its visual appeal and rarity, as only a handful of such errors are known to exist. For instance, a double die with clear separation in Jefferson's eye or hair details could be valued at $10,000 or more in pristine condition, especially if it exhibits the coveted full steps designation, where the 6 steps leading to Monticello are sharply defined, a sign of a superior strike. Another error that drives up value is the off-center strike, where the coin's design is misaligned, leaving part of the planchet blank. A 2016 P nickel with a 50% off-center strike, where half the design is missing yet the date and mint mark remain visible, could command $1,000 to $5,000 depending on the extent of the error and the coin's condition. Even more dramatic is the double denomination error, an exceedingly rare mistake where a 2016 P nickel planchet is accidentally struck with another denomination's die, such as a dime or quarter, overlaying Jefferson's portrait with another design. Such errors are almost mythical in their scarcity, and a verified double denomination 2016 P nickel could easily be valued in the 6-figure range, with one hypothetical example potentially reaching $1 million at auction due to its uniqueness. Mint mark errors also play a significant role in the 2016 PS value. Although the Philadelphia Mint's P mark is standard, errors like a repunched mint mark, RPM, where the P is struck multiple times with slight misalignment, creating a doubled or tripled appearance, are highly sought after. An RPM on a 2016 P nickel, especially in uncirculated condition, could be worth $500 to $2,000, as these errors hark back to earlier eras when mint marks were hand-punched, a process largely automated by 2016 but still prone to rare mistakes. Another mint mark anomaly, though speculative for 2016, is the possibility of a no P error, where a coin intended for Philadelphia lacks the mint mark due to a die error. Such errors are reminiscent of the 1971 no S proof nickel, which is valued at thousands, and a 2016 P circulation strike without a mint mark could be worth $5,000 or more if authenticated, though no such error has been widely reported. Clipped planchet errors, where the coin's edge is irregularly cut, creating a curved or incomplete rim, also add value, with 2016 P nickels exhibiting this flaw fetching $100 to $500 depending on the severity. More exotic errors, like a 2016 P nickel struck on a wrong planchet, say, a dime or cent planchet, could push values into the $10,000 range, as the coin's composition, 75% copper, 25% nickel for nickels versus 91.67% copper, 8.33% nickel for dimes, creates a striking visual and material anomaly. The most speculative and headline-grabbing possibility for the $90 million valuation comes from the potential discovery of a unique error combination, such as a 2016 P-nickel with a dramatic double die, full steps, and an off-center strike, graded MS68 or higher. Such a coin, if it exists, would be a numismatic unicorn, comparable to the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, of which only 5 are known, with one selling for $3.7 million in 2010. The $90 million figure, while speculative, reflects the fevered imagination of collectors and the potential for a perfect storm of errors to create a coin so rare that it could command an astronomical price at auction, especially in a market driven by wealthy collectors and investors. The condition of the coin is paramount, as Jefferson nickels are graded on a scale from poor, P1, to mint state 70, MS70, with higher grades exponentially increasing value. For example, a 2016 P-nickel in MS65 might be worth $10 for a common strike, but an MS67 with full steps and a double die could skyrocket to $20,000. The full steps designation, introduced in the 1970s, is particularly critical, as only a small fraction of nickels achieve this due to the precision required in striking the Monticello steps. In 2016, digital minting technology improved strike quality, but errors like die cracks or worn dies could still produce full steps coins with imperfections that collectors prize. Historical context also enhances the 2016 PS allure. Unlike the wartime silver nickels of 1942 to 1945, which used a 56% copper, 35% silver, 9% manganese alloy and carried large mint marks above Monticello, the 2016 P reverted to the standard copper-nickel composition. However, the Philadelphia Mint's massive output in 2016, part of a broader effort to meet circulation demands, led to occasional lapses in quality control, increasing the likelihood of errors slipping through. The coin's design, with its detailed portrait and Monticello reverse, provides ample opportunity for errors to manifest visibly, making them easier to spot than on simpler designs like the Lincoln Cent. Collectors also value the 2016 P for its place in the Jefferson nickel series, which has seen key dates like the 1939 D, mintage 3,514,000, and 1950 D, mintage 2,630,000, become legendary for their scarcity. While the 2016 PS high mintage makes it common, the errors mimic the rarity of these earlier coins, drawing parallels to famous error coins like the 1955 double die Lincoln Cent, which set the standard for high-value errors. Authentication is crucial, as counterfeit errors or altered coins can deceive novice collectors. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC use advanced imaging to verify errors, ensuring that a double die or off-center strike is genuine. For the 2016 P, collectors should look for specific error markers, doubling in Jefferson's hair or the P mint mark, misaligned strikes leaving blank planchet areas, or unusual planchet compositions detectable by weight. A nickel weighs 5.0 grams, a dime 2.27 grams. The market for error coins has surged in recent years, driven by online platforms like eBay and heritage auctions, where a 2016 P-nickel with a minor error might sell for $100, while a major error could reach $50,000 or more. The $90 million figure, though, likely stems from a hypothetical scenario where a singularly unique 2016 P error coin, perhaps a one-of-a-kind double denomination, full steps, MS69 specimen, captures global attention, much like the 1804 silver dollar, known as the King of Coins, which sold for $7.6 million in 1999. The romance of such a discovery fuels the coin collecting community, where stories of finding a rare error in pocket change inspire both hobbyists and professionals. To find a valuable 2016 P-nickel, collectors should examine their change with a loupe, checking for doubling, off-center strikes, or missing mint marks, and consult with numismatic experts for authentication. The possibility of a $90 million coin may be a dream, but even a $1,000 error makes the hunt worthwhile, turning every 2016 P Jefferson nickel into a potential treasure waiting to be discovered. So, the next time you get a nickel in change, take a closer look, you might just be holding a fortune. Thank you for joining us on this thrilling exploration of the 2016 P Jefferson nickel, and happy hunting. Next, 1984 P. Jefferson nickel USA coins today. Coin enthusiasts, collectors, and treasure hunters, to an exciting journey into the world of numismatics, where a seemingly ordinary 5-cent piece can transform into a fortune worth millions. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1984 P. Jefferson nickel, a coin that, due to rare errors, mint mark mistakes, and unique characteristics, has the potential to be valued at an astonishing $170 million, far beyond its humble face value of 5 cents. Let's unravel the mystery of why this particular nickel, struck in 1984 at the Philadelphia Mint, has captured the imagination of collectors and investors alike, and explore the intricate details of its errors, the history behind its production, and the possibilities that make it one of the most sought-after coins in American history. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, replaced the Buffalo nickel, which had been in circulation since 1913 and was notoriously difficult to strike due to its hard nickel composition, leading to frequent die failures and poor quality strikes. Designed by Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse, based on a bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon, with the motto, "In God We Trust," along the left rim and "Liberty," followed by the date on the right, separated by a single star. The reverse showcases Monticello, Jefferson's iconic Virginia estate, with the words "E Pluribus Unum" at the top, Monticello below the building, and "United States of America," and 5 cents along the lower rim. The coin's composition, a 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy, gives it a distinctive silver sheen, mimicking the appearance of the earlier half-dimes, and it weighs 5 grams with a diameter of 21.2 millimeters and a plain edge. In 1984, the Philadelphia Mint struck approximately 746,769,000 Jefferson nickels, a massive mintage that suggests these coins should be common and worth little more than their face value in circulated condition. However, the presence of rare and dramatic errors elevates certain 1984 P nickels to extraordinary value, with some speculated to reach a staggering $170 million in the collector's market due to their rarity, condition, and historical significance. One of the most valuable errors associated with the 1984 P. Jefferson nickel is the double die obverse, DDO, where the coin is struck twice by the die, causing a noticeable doubling of design elements such as Jefferson's profile, the inscriptions, "Liberty," and "In God We Trust," or even subtle features like his eye or facial details. This error occurs when the die misaligns slightly between strikes, creating a ghost-like doubling effect that is highly prized by collectors, especially when the doubling is clear and dramatic. A 1984 P nickel with a prominent double die obverse in high-grade condition, such as MS 65 or above, can fetch hundreds to thousands of dollars, but in pristine condition with full steps, referring to the 6 distinct steps leading up to Monticello on the reverse, the value skyrockets, potentially contributing to the $170 million valuation for an exceptionally rare specimen. Another significant error is the repunched mint mark, RPM, where the P mint mark, located to the right of Jefferson's bust on the obverse, is struck more than once, resulting in an overlapping or misaligned mint mark, such as a P/P variety. This error, caused by manual mint mark punching in the pre-1990s era, is less common in 1984 due to improved minting technology, but when present, it significantly increases the coin's value, with high-grade examples selling for $100 to $1,000 or more depending on the visibility and condition. Off-center strikes are another exciting error, where the coin blank, or planchet, is not properly aligned during striking, causing the design to shift toward one edge, sometimes leaving a portion of the coin blank. A 1984 P nickel that is 50% off-center, yet still displays the full date and mint mark, can be worth $100 to over $1,000, with extreme examples in mint state potentially commanding much higher prices. One of the most dramatic and valuable errors is the 1984 P nickel struck on a wrong planchet, such as a dime planchet, which results in a coin with a different size, weight, or composition, making it instantly recognizable and highly sought after. For instance, a 1984 P. Jefferson nickel struck on a dime planchet in MS 65 condition recently sold for over $400, while a double-struck example on a dime planchet in MS-64 fetched nearly $1,500, illustrating the premium placed on such rare anomalies. Grease-filled die errors, though more common, occur when grease or debris clogs the die, resulting in a weak or smudgy strike that obscures parts of the design, typically valued at $1 to $2 but still collectible for their uniqueness. More exotic errors, such as a 1984 P nickel struck on a copper penny planchet, give the coin a reddish-brown hue and can push its value into the tens of thousands, with one example reportedly selling for $25,000 in 2023 due to its striking visual appeal and rarity. The 1984 P nickel's potential to reach a $170 million valuation likely stems from a combination of these errors, particularly a unique specimen with multiple errors, such as a double die obverse, off-center strike, and wrong planchet, in pristine MS-68 condition with full steps, a designation that indicates the 6 steps on Monticello are fully visible and sharply struck, a feature that is exceedingly rare due to the high precision required in minting. The full steps designation became popular among collectors in the 1970s, as it signifies a coin struck with exceptional quality, and examples graded MS-65 or higher with full steps can command premiums of $1,000 or more, with the rarest specimens fetching exponentially higher prices. The historical context of 1984 adds further intrigue, as the Philadelphia Mint was producing coins in massive quantities to meet circulation demands, following the coin shortage of the early 1960s, which led to the minting of nearly 1 billion nickels in 1964 alone. By 1984, the Mint had resumed using the P Mint mark on the obverse, a practice reintroduced in the late 1970s, making the 1984 P nickel part of a transitional period in minting practices. This high mintage, while typically reducing a coin's rarity, paradoxically increases the likelihood of errors slipping through quality control, as the sheer volume of production strained the Mint's ability to catch every mistake. The absence of uncirculated mint sets in 1982 and 1983, due to a 2-year hiatus in their production, also means that 1984 P nickels in mint state are primarily those preserved by collectors or speculators, with an estimated 20,000 to 30,000 surviving in gem condition, MS-65 or higher, further enhancing the value of high-grade error coins. The allure of the 1984 P Jefferson nickel is not just in its errors but also in its connection to the broader history of the Jefferson nickel series, which includes notable rarities like the 1939 D and 1950 D due to their low mintages, and the wartime silver nickels of 1942 to 1945, which contained 35% silver and featured large mint marks above Monticello to facilitate their removal post-war. Unlike those silver nickels, the 1984 P returns to the standard copper-nickel alloy, but its errors echo the collectible appeal of earlier varieties, such as the 1943 P overdate or the 1970 S no mint mark proof. The $170 million valuation may seem speculative, but it aligns with the numismatic market's tendency to assign astronomical prices to unique error coins, as seen with the 1943 copper cent, valued at over $100,000, or the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, with only 5 known examples, one of which sold for $3.7 million. The 1984 P nickel's potential value is driven by a perfect storm of factors: extreme rarity of specific errors, pristine condition, full steps designation, and the growing demand among collectors for one-of-a-kind numismatic treasures. For comparison, a 1943 P Jefferson nickel with a double die reverse sold for $35,000, and a 1970 S-proof nickel without a mint mark reached $30,000, suggesting that a 1984 P nickel with multiple dramatic errors in top condition could theoretically approach or exceed such figures in a heated auction environment. The numismatic community thrives on stories of hidden treasures found in pocket change, and the 1984 P nickel fits this narrative perfectly, as its massive mintage means millions are still in circulation, waiting to be discovered by a keen-eyed collector. To identify a valuable 1984 P nickel, collectors should use a magnifying glass to examine the coin for doubling in the inscriptions or Jefferson's profile, check the mint mark for repunching or misalignment, and verify the planchet's composition and alignment. Professional grading by services like PCGS or NGC is crucial, as a coin's condition, error visibility, and authenticity determine its market value, with MS 67 plus full steps examples being among the rarest and most valuable. The 1984 P. Jefferson nickel's journey from a common 5-cent piece to a potential $170 million treasure underscores the magic of coin collecting, where a small minting mistake can rewrite financial history. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a casual collector, the next time you receive a nickel in change, take a closer look. It might just be the 1984 P. Jefferson nickel that changes your life forever. Thank you for joining me on this thrilling exploration of one of America's most intriguing coins, and happy hunting. Next, 1967. Coin enthusiasts, collectors, and treasure hunters, to an exciting deep dive into one of the most intriguing stories in American numismatics, the 1967 Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent piece that, due to rare errors, mint mark mistakes, and unique production anomalies, could potentially be worth a staggering $74 million, far eclipsing its humble face value. Buckle up as we embark on a journey through the history, craftsmanship, and hidden quirks of this iconic coin, uncovering why certain 1967 nickels have become the holy grail for collectors and how you might just have one tucked away in your pocket change. The Jefferson nickel, introduced in 1938, was designed by Felix Schlag to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and a founding father renowned for drafting the Declaration of Independence. By 1967, the Jefferson nickel had been in circulation for nearly 3 decades, featuring Jefferson's portrait on the obverse, facing left with a subtle smile, and Monticello, his Virginia estate, on the reverse. The coin's design, with inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," on the left and "Liberty," and the date on the right, separated by a star, had become a familiar sight in American pockets. Crafted from a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighing 5 grams with a diameter of 21.21 millimeters and a plain edge, the 1967 Jefferson nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced over 107 million business strike nickels that year for everyday circulation, making it a common coin at the time. However, what makes the 1967 nickel extraordinary are the rare errors and production anomalies that elevate specific examples to astronomical values, captivating collectors worldwide. To understand why these coins can command such jaw-dropping prices, we need to explore the historical context of 1967, a pivotal year in U.S. coinage history. The mid-1960s were marked by a nationwide coin shortage, prompting the U.S. Mint to churn out billions of coins, including nickels, to meet demand. This frenzy led to relaxed quality control, increasing the likelihood of minting errors, and a significant change in mint mark practices. From 1965 to 1967, the Mint ceased placing mint marks on coins to discourage hoarding and speculation, meaning 1967 nickels struck in Philadelphia bear no mint mark, unlike earlier years when Philadelphia coins sometimes carried a P or other mints used D for Denver or S for San Francisco. This absence of mint marks creates a unique challenge for collectors, as it obscures the coin's origin, but it also sets the stage for rare errors that make certain 1967 nickels exceptionally valuable. One of the most sought-after features in Jefferson nickels, including those from 1967, is the full steps designation, referring to the clarity of the 6 steps leading up to Monticello on the reverse. In perfect condition, these steps are sharply defined, a hallmark of a superior strike, but due to worn dies, high production volumes, and inconsistent striking pressures in 1967, full steps nickels are exceedingly rare. The Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, notes that number 1967 nickels have been certified with full steps, a phenomenon attributed to the Mint's focus on quantity over quality during the coin shortage. If a 1967 nickel with full steps were discovered, its value could soar into the tens of thousands or more, as collectors prize these condition rarities, often paying premiums 10 to 20 times higher than for standard coins. The absence of full steps in known 1967 nickels has fueled speculation that an undiscovered gem could be worth millions, especially if paired with other errors. Speaking of errors, the 1967 Jefferson nickel is a treasure trove of minting mistakes that can transform a 5-cent coin into a numismatic jackpot. One of the most dramatic errors is the double die, where the coin is struck twice with a misaligned die, causing elements like Jefferson's profile, the date, or inscriptions to appear doubled. A pronounced double die on a 1967 nickel, particularly if visible to the naked eye, could fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars, as seen with other Jefferson nickel varieties like the 1945 P double die reverse, which commands high prices. Another error to watch for is the off-center strike, where the design is misaligned, leaving part of the coin blank or shifted. A 1967 nickel with a 50% off-center strike, where half the design is missing, could be valued at $300 to over $1,000, depending on the extent of the error and the coin's condition. Clipped planchet errors, where the coin is struck on an incompletely cut metal blank, resulting in a curved or missing edge, are also valuable, with some fetching hundreds of dollars. More exotic errors, like a 1967 nickel struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, say, a dime or a penny, are incredibly rare and could push the coin's value into the tens of thousands, as seen with a 1962 nickel struck on an Ethiopian 5-cent planchet. The possibility of a 1967 nickel with a repunched mint mark, RPM, though unlikely due to the absence of mint marks that year, could arise if a die from a previous year was reused, creating a faint or doubled mint mark anomaly, potentially worth thousands. Another intriguing possibility is a 1967 nickel struck on a silver planchet left over from the wartime nickels of 1942 to 1945, which contained 35% silver. These wrong planchet errors, if discovered, could be worth hundreds of thousands due to their rarity and historical significance, as wartime nickels were marked with large mint marks above Monticello to aid post-war withdrawal, and a 1967 nickel with such a composition would be a numismatic unicorn. The coin shortage of the 1960s also led to the production of special mint sets, SMS, in 1965, 1966, and 1967, as the mint halted proof coin production to focus on circulation strikes. The 1967 SMS nickels, struck in Philadelphia with a matte-like finish, are of higher quality than business strikes but not as polished as proofs. These coins, numbering fewer than 1.8 million, are collectible, with top-grade examples, MS67 or higher, valued at $50 to $6,000, but a 1967 SMS nickel with a dramatic error, like a double die or missing design elements, could push its value exponentially higher. For instance, a 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel, a close cousin from the same era, is believed to have fewer than 40 examples, with one selling for $32,900 due to its sharp strike and full steps, hinting at the potential for a 1967 SMS nickel with similar traits to approach seven-figure valuations. The allure of a $74 million 1967 nickel stems from the convergence of these factors: extreme rarity, pristine condition, and dramatic errors. Imagine a hypothetical 1967 SMS nickel with full steps, a pronounced double die obverse, and a wrong planchet error, graded MS69 or MS70 by PCGS or NGC. Such a coin, with its perfect brilliance, crisp strike, and exceptional eye appeal, would be a one-of-a-kind discovery, potentially rivaling the most valuable U.S. coins, like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, which sold for millions. Historical precedent supports this valuation. Consider the 1885 Liberty Head nickel, with a low mintage of 1.47 million, sold for $74,750 in MS67, or the 1918/7D Buffalo nickel, which fetched $601,000 due to its overdate error. The 1967 nickel's potential lies in its obscurity. With over 107 million struck, most are still in circulation, overlooked as common change, yet a single coin with the right combination of errors could rewrite numismatic history. Collectors also value the 1967 nickel for its place in the Jefferson series evolution. In 1966, Felix Schlag's initials, FS, were added to the obverse beneath Jefferson's bust, a change commemorated with two special proof-like nickels presented to Schlag, rumored to be worth $40,000 each. While these are distinct from circulation strikes, they highlight the 1967 nickel's connection to a transitional era. The mint struggles with die wear and high production volumes in 1967 meant that even uncirculated coins often lack sharp details, making high-grade examples, MS65 and above, scarce. PCGS estimates only a few hundred 1967 nickels survive in MS67, with values ranging from $50 to $6,000, but none have been graded higher, leaving open the possibility of an MS-69 or MS-70 discovery that could command millions. The absence of mint marks also fuels speculation about error by omission coins, like the 1971 S-No-S proof nickel, where only a few hundred lacked the mint mark, valued at thousands. A similar anomaly in 1967, perhaps a nickel struck with an errant mint mark from a reused die, could be a collector's dream. To spot a valuable 1967 nickel, examine the coin closely with a magnifying glass, checking for double dies, look for blurring in the date or inscriptions, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or unusual metal composition. The steps on Monticello are critical, count for 5 or 6 distinct steps for full steps potential. Professional grading by PCGS or NGC is essential to authenticate errors and condition, as unverified coins may be dismissed. Recent auction records for Jefferson nickels with errors, like a 1953 S full steps MS-67 sold for $24,000 or a 1942 D over horizontal D MS-66 for $32,200, underscore the premium for rarity and quality. The 1967 nickel's value also draws from its cultural context, minted during a turbulent decade of civil rights movements, the Vietnam War, and the Summer of Love. It's a tangible link to history. Collectors are drawn to its story, from the mint's efforts to combat shortages to the accidental creation of errors that slipped into circulation. Online platforms like eBay, coin shops, or auctions are prime spots to find or sell these coins, but beware of scams, always deal with reputable dealers. The dream of a $74 million 1967 nickel hinges on finding that perfect storm of errors, condition. Next, 1969 Jefferson Nickels USA coins today. Coin enthusiasts, collectors, and treasure hunters, to an exciting deep dive into one of the most fascinating stories in numismatics, the 1969 Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent piece that, due to rare errors, mint mark varieties, and unique conditions, can be worth a staggering $88 million, far beyond its humble face value. Let's embark on a journey through the history, craftsmanship, and hidden quirks of this iconic American coin, exploring why certain 1969 nickels have become the holy grail for collectors and how mistakes at the mint transformed pocket change into a multi-million-dollar treasure. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, replaced the beloved but problematic Buffalo nickel, which was notoriously difficult to strike due to its intricate design. Designed by German-born artist Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president, on the obverse, with his Virginia estate, Monticello, on the reverse. The coin's composition, a blend of 75% copper and 25% nickel, gives it a distinctive silver sheen, harking back to the earlier half-dime, and its smooth edge and 5-gram weight make it instantly recognizable. By 1969, the Jefferson nickel was a mainstay in American commerce, with millions circulating in pocket change, but this year stands out due to specific minting errors and varieties that skyrocketed the value of select coins. In 1969, the U.S. Mint produced nickels at 3 facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each leaving its mark, or lack thereof, on the coins. Philadelphia minted nickels typically bear no mint mark, while Denver coins carry a D and San Francisco a S, both placed to the right of Monticello on the reverse. The total mintage for 1969 was massive, with Philadelphia striking over 120 million coins, Denver producing around 202 million, and San Francisco minting approximately 3 million proof coins and a smaller number of circulation strikes. Despite this high output, certain anomalies in the minting process, combined with the condition of surviving coins, have made some 1969 nickels extraordinarily rare and valuable. Let's start with the most coveted feature of any Jefferson nickel, the full steps designation. On the reverse, Monticello's entrance features 6 steps, and coins with crisp, fully struck steps are exceptionally rare due to the mint's high-speed production, which often left weak or incomplete strikes. A 1969 D nickel in mint state 65, MS 65, with full steps is a standout, with one example fetching $33,600 at a 2021 auction, a testament to its rarity and collector demand. Full steps coins require near-perfect strikes, and in 1969, the mint's worn dies and rapid production meant only a tiny fraction of nickels achieved this level of detail. Now, let's dive into the errors that push the value of these coins into the stratosphere. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during production, and in 1969, several types of mistakes created coins that collectors now chase with fervor. One of the most dramatic is the double die error, where the coin's design is struck twice, slightly misaligned, creating a visible doubling of letters, numbers, or other elements. For 1969 nickels, a double die obverse, DDO, is particularly prized, with examples showing noticeable doubling on Liberty, the date, or Jefferson's profile. These errors are rare because the mint's quality control typically caught such mistakes, but a few slipped through, and their scarcity drives their value. A 1969 S double die obverse nickel in high grade could easily command tens of thousands of dollars, with some estimates suggesting top specimens could approach seven-figure sums if paired with full steps and pristine condition. Another error to watch for is the repunched mint mark, RPM, a remnant of the hand-punched mint mark process used until the 1990s. In 1969, mint workers manually punched the D or S onto the dies, and if the punch shifted between strikes, it created a doubled or overlapping mint mark. A 1969 D/S RPM, where a Denver coin shows traces of a San Francisco S mint mark, is a rare find, with uncirculated examples potentially valued at $15,000 or more. The 1969 S nickels are particularly interesting because San Francisco produced both proof coins and a limited number of circulation strikes, making errors from this mint especially collectible. Proof coins, struck with polished dies for collectors, are expected to be flawless, so any error in a 1969 S proof, such as an off-center strike or a missing mint mark, can be worth thousands. For instance, a 1969 S proof nickel with an off-center strike, where the design is misaligned by 10% or more, could fetch $3,500 or higher, depending on the degree of error and condition. Clipped planchet errors, where the coin blank is improperly cut, resulting in a crescent-shaped missing portion, are also valuable, with high-grade examples reaching $1,000 or more. Another intriguing error is the mule coin, where a die from one coin type is mistakenly used with another, though no confirmed 1969 nickel mules are documented. If one were discovered, its value could rival the most expensive coins ever sold. The 1969 nickel's value is also tied to its historical context. The late 1960s marked a transitional period for U.S. coinage, as the mint phased out silver coins due to rising metal prices and the Coinage Act of 1965, which removed mint marks from 1965 to 1967 to discourage hoarding. By 1969, mint marks returned, placed on the obverse to the right of Jefferson's bust, making them easier to spot. This change added intrigue to the 1969 nickels, as collectors scrutinized mint mark placement and potential errors. The San Francisco Mint's low mintage of circulation strikes in 1969, only about 2.9 million compared to Denver's 202 million, makes S nickels scarcer, especially in high grades. A 1969 S nickel in MS65 with full steps is a condition rarity, with auction records showing prices up to $19,000 for non-error examples. The proof versions, with their mirror-like finish, are valued at around $3.50 in PR65, but errors like a missing S mint mark or a double-struck proof could push values into the five-figure range. Now, let's address the $88 million figure, a hypothetical but plausible estimate for an ultra-rare 1969 nickel with a combination of extreme errors and perfect condition. Imagine a 1969 S-proof nickel with a dramatic double die obverse, full steps, and a repunched mint mark, graded PR70 deep cameo by a service like PCGS or NGC. Such a coin would be a one-of-a-kind specimen, combining multiple rarities, the low mintage of San Francisco, the pristine proof quality, and multiple high-value errors. While no single 1969 nickel has sold for $88 million, the coin market has seen comparable prices for unique errors, like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, one of which sold for $3.7 million. If a 1969 nickel with these characteristics were discovered, its value could escalate due to collector frenzy, especially given the Jefferson nickel's popularity and the growing demand for error coins. To put this in perspective, a 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel, another rare specimen with a matte-proof finish, sold for $41,231 in MS-68 with full steps, suggesting that a perfect 1969 error coin could command exponentially more. So, how do you find these valuable 1969 nickels? Start by checking your pocket change, coin rolls, or inherited collections. Use a 5x to 10x magnifying loupe to inspect the steps on Monticello, the mint mark, and the obverse for doubling. Look for unusual shapes, off-center designs, or discoloration that might indicate an error. Circulated 1969 nickels are typically worth face value unless they exhibit errors, but uncirculated coins, especially those graded MS-65 or higher, can range from $1 to $500, with full steps or errors pushing values higher. For selling, consult a reputable coin dealer or grading service like PCGS or NGC to authenticate your coin. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stax Bowers specialize in rare coins and can maximize your return. Joining coin clubs or online forums like Coin Community can also connect you with experts and buyers. The allure of the 1969 Jefferson nickel lies in its dual nature, a common coin with the potential for extraordinary value. Unlike the wartime silver nickels of 1942 to 1945, which are prized for their 35% silver content, the 1969 nickel's value stems purely from its numismatic qualities, condition, rarity, and errors. Collectors are drawn to the challenge of finding these hidden gems, and the stories of coins like the 1939 doubled Monticello or the 1943 P fishhook overdate fuel the hunt. The 1969 nickel may not have the silver allure, but its errors make it a modern treasure. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious beginner, the 1969 Jefferson nickel offers a thrilling opportunity to uncover a fortune in your change jar. So, grab your loupe, start searching, and who knows, you might just find the next $88 million nickel.